Welcome everybody to another episode of FYC Film Review. I'm your host Gagne. With me, my partner in crime, Naldo. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, man? How's it going? How's it going, everybody? What's going on?
Are you ready to go to the mall?
I love the mall, man. Back in
Ah,
the 90s.
man.
This movie, Mallrats from 1995. This was kind of like part of our growing up days, man. 95.
Yeah. Saw it much later. For those of you who don't know, your FYC film review hosts here were roommates, and so this was, I think, played a lot. Maybe we didn't have a lot of DVDs. I don't know, but I feel like we played this a lot when we lived
We
together.
did. Yeah, we played it a lot. I actually enjoyed it better than Clerks. Better than
Ooh.
Clerks.
Okay.
It was a bit more lively, a bit more colorful, clearly, right?
Good
So
call.
I really enjoyed this film back in the day. Really loved it, and I remember watching with you. And it's one of those movies that just was like, oh, this is part of growing up, kind of like the American Pie movies. So rewatching it now again, not sure if it holds up anymore.
Yeah, full disclosure, I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan. I
Huge.
rewatched this movie on a plane as I was heading to a cruise where it was all about Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes. And so Jay and Silent Bob and Mr. Brody Bruce himself was there, Jason Lee. So I was geeking out. However, when I watched the movie, there were moments I reminisced and joked, got the jokes and laughed, but then there were a lot of them that I was like, don't know that it ages so well. The movie now is almost 30 years old, which is mind blowing, and I think rewatching it now, sometimes you can rewatch an old film and it isn't dated, but this is very dated. One, malls aren't really a thing anymore. They are,
Yeah.
but like people don't go there and hang out like they used to. Two, it's just, comedy was different then. We've seen it
Sure.
in 80s movies we've watched where some of the topics or some things that are joked
just
about, you
don't-
just kind of like, I don't know that I want to joke about it. Also, we're adults now, we're parents. Like, it just, some of that stuff doesn't land the same as when you're 20 years old and you're watching it and going, ha ha ha, dick and fart jokes, they're great.
Dick and Farters.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
I do remember, I mean, Kevin Smith movies are dialogue, right? They're dialogue driven,
Yes. Very-
fast dialogue,
Mhm.
witty, fast. And this has it with Jason Lee. I still like Jason Lee.
Yes.
He's there's something about Jason Lee that I really enjoy, and not just in Kevin Smith movies and his other movies that he's had. So watching him in this, I just remember all the things. There's this line that he says that's always kind of stuck with me when he goes, "Hell hath no fear like a woman scorned forsaken." For
Yes,
some
great line.
reason, that line have always stuck in my head. So it's a fun nostalgic trip back down memory lane. That's what it is.
And as you watch this again, you realize, like, of all the actors in this, and you got Ben Affleck in there, young Ben Affleck, like Jason Lee is the most on point in this movie than anyone. Like, he hits the lines right as you should. The dialogue is great. Other than some moments here and there, it just doesn't hit the same way as it did when we were in our 20s.
Yeah, and then the Jay and Silent Bob scenes, I think they're still funny. They're fine. I didn't have any problem with those scenes. It goes, fly, fat ass, fly.
Yeah.
It still hit for some reason. So
Oh,
it just
yeah.
kind of brought me back to a time when we're 19 and 20. I'm like, oh, okay, I remember these days. So it was fun. It was a fun trip down memory lane. I mean, Shannon Dorothy, Claire Filani, so all these
Cast
90s.
he was able to assemble in this movie.
Yeah, Michael Rooker.
Joey Lauren Adams. I mean, those are familiar faces in most of Kevin Smith's movies. But yeah, I mean, Michael Rooker, Ben Affleck, Shannon Doherty, just so many people. But there's still some really cute stuff and fun stuff in there. I mean, the sailboat still gets me. A schooner is a sailboat. Just there's little things in there, and the dialogue is still very, very sharp. And my wife walked in on the topless psychic moment and was like,
Oh, the third
I forgot
nipple.
about that. Like, why did she eat the nipple? Yeah,
I don't know why she ate it. I always thought it was like a gummy nipple.
right.
See, this is just weird.
Do they make those? Like, that was just the thing where I was like, I don't really have an answer. I've watched this movie, I don't know, a dozen times. No answer for that. Just was a thing.
I don't mean what it still hits hard is the ending when Jay and Silent Bob walk off with the chimpanzee and Suzanne from Weezer plays. For some reason,
Okay.
that just hit really hard. I still love that song because of this movie.
Yeah, that is such a good end credit song.
Yeah,
It's fantastic. It gets
it
stuck in your
is.
head instantly. My wife tried to shut it off when that was rolling. I was like, wait, this is
No,
honestly the
no,
best
no,
part
no.
of it.
You
Like,
don't you
yeah,
don't shut that part off
play the whole song back.
ever. Oh man. All right. It's I think let's rate it.
Scale of 1 to 5, we're gonna go chocolate covered pretzels. Huh? How
Oh,
many chocolate covered
disgusting.
pretzels are you gonna have? I don't can't look at them the same anymore ever since this movie. Um, I'm gonna rate first.
Okay.
Uh, I'm gonna hold strong that this movie brings back a lot of good memories. A lot of it, yes, is of our time in our 20s and when we lived together, and
Yeah.
the nostalgia of how much I loved Kevin Smith. Um, Growing up and feeling connected in that clerk way,
Yeah.
working at a theater, being just being, it felt like a slacker in your 20s. I'm gonna keep it at a solid 3. I
Okay.
still have an affinity for Mallrats, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave
Okay.
it at a 3.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was thinking 2.5, but nostalgia reigns supreme with this movie. It really does. That's how some movies hit, and if it does, then it can elevate a movie to a certain degree. And I'm with you, man. Three. What are we saying? Three
Chocolate covered
chocolate
pretzels.
delicious covered pretzels for me. This movie is, like I said, a trip down memory lane. Does it hold up? No, it doesn't hold up. A lot of the jokes just don't hold up, and I think this seeing Ben Affleck in this just really made me want to hate him, even though I like Ben Affleck, but
Yeah,
he did such a really good job of portraying this really douchey
yeah.
character.
Solid script, a lot of good performances here and there in this movie. If you haven't seen it, I consider watching it. If you have seen it, I would say watch Mallrats, and then I'll raise you Chasing Amy, because Jason Lee is also in that, Ben Affleck is also in that, and they are great
Yeah.
together, and it's a better movie, I think, still, because I've also watched that recently. So
Really?
yes, holds
Okay.
up much better. It's not as dated. So yeah, I would recommend that one. But
There you go.
that's what we got for you this week, folks. We appreciate you watching FYC Film Review. I'm your host, Gagne, with me, my partner, Naldo, and we will catch you next time at the mall.
Have a good one, everybody. Malls are closed. Don't go to the mall. Just stay home and order on Amazon, I guess. I don't know. Nobody goes to the mall
Sad
anymore.
state of affairs.